Hey, welcome everyone. Welcome to this live stream, to this Ask Latest News from Kubecon, Ask Me Anything. So if you followed the social networks and what happened last week, we were actually at Kubecon London, Kubecon Europe 2025, and it was amazing, to be honest. Very excited. So we're gonna chat today, interact with you, during an hour. So if you have any questions, you may be connected from a various social platforms. So it could be YouTube, it could be LinkedIn, it could be Twitch, it could be Facebook. So wherever you're coming from, you're welcome. Stay with us 1 hour, take a drink, to start, let us know where you're coming from. So I'm coming from south of France, and so the weather is pretty great now. So we have almost the summer in the way. So let us know where you're coming from. We'll be very excited to see where you're connected. And of course, this session is for you. So if you have any questions about KubeCon or any news about the cloud native space, just drop questions in the chat. So this session is having a session with only me, Henrik Rexed. It will be very boring because there's nothing much to say. So I'd like to have, of course, I need to have a couple of people connected here. And I want to welcome to a colleague of mine where we work together on a lot of topics. It's Adriana. Hi, Adriana. How are you?
Hey, Henrik, I'm great. How are you?
I'm very good. So where are you now? Because you were in London. Yes, you're back in Toronto because I
I'm
see the
back in
background.
Toronto. Yeah, I'm based out of Toronto, Canada. I just returned home on Monday morning after a whirlwind weekend at KubeCon, and then flew in my daughter for the end of KubeCon week for us to have a long weekend together, and then flew home.
Did your daughter recover after a long, excited sightseeing weekend, or how is she?
I think she's jet lagged, but she looks cool, so she's powering through.
We have another amazing colleague of ours that works at Dynatrace. It's that will also be here during this live stream. It's Alexandra. How are you, Alexandra?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
So Alexandra is yours. You were working in, I can see, open feature. So tell us
Yes.
about yourself.
So, hi everyone. Also, welcome to the stream from my end. I'm Alex, and I'm a software engineer and agile advocate in the feature flagging team at Dynatrace. So the team basically then initiated the open feature project, and it's really cool to be on the project and also to be able to join KubeCon for the project. Um, yeah, I'm working like 3 years now only at Dynatrace, and it's has been also been my first time at KubeCon, so it was really cool. It's a crazy big event. Wasn't expecting that.
It was your first KubeCon.
Yeah, it was my first KubeCon. Yeah, and also big event, big conference actually, because before that I've also only been to like 1 day conferences, so I've never like really been flown by the company to a different city for this long time. So it was really cool.
So we have someone from San Antonio. Hi, LinkedIn user. I don't know, but so Adriana, how many KubeCon have you been so far?
Oh my God. So I want to say this is like my 6th KubeCon.
6 KubeCon. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah,
Detroit,
my first one was
Chicago.
KubeCon 2022 in Detroit. So that was my very first one. So 6 now. I've done pretty much the North America and EU ones since then.
In a row. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
The first KubeCon for me was Valencia, and
Ooh.
then since then I went through every single KubeCon. So I don't know. It's gonna be maybe one
One more than
extra,
me.
one more
Yeah.
than me on
Than
you.
me.
So the first one
Wow.
is like it was special because Valencia was like just after COVID, so there was like the first events where so it was crowded but not too much. And this year, yeah, was a big event for sure. So hi Sarita, hi Ruben, hey Marino, hey, good to see you. Great to see. I think some of us did have the chance to present topics and sessions at KubeCon. So Yeah, Alex, for your first KubeCon, you also had a chance to present. So what were
Yeah.
the channels, the sessions that you
So
covered?
my first big talk, basically, it was really cool. So I was part of the open feature update from the maintainers talk. It was on the first day of the main event, KubeCon, so on Wednesday morning, and we were basically. So I was on the talk with Thomas and with Lucas. So they're both also maintainers of open feature and also on the technical committee, which was also great to like be able to speak with people that are so long on the project already. And then we were basically talking about the recent project updates, but I think we're gonna go through them later.
But yeah, I think it was excited to first KubeCon and first session because I've been fighting to get a session at KubeCon, and so I'm a bit jealous. Gosh. And you, Adriana, I think you've been delivering talks every day at KubeCon. It's like
three
KubeCon
three
was
talks in
organized
3
around
days.
you,
Wow.
around. So next year is going to be named not KubeCon, but AdrianaCon.
Oh my god.
I was already overwhelmed with one talk, and you had like three. It's crazy.
I was
How
pretty
did
dead
you do that?
after.
So what was the session?
So my first talk was for Observability Day, and I actually spoke with Marino, who's on the live stream. Whoop, whoop. And our talk was about taking open telemetry beyond like its traditional borders of tech, and like what if we use it in like our non-techie workflows like the hiring process, or like keeping track of like folks in ERs, that sort of thing. Then the second talk was on the first day of KubeCon, which was with Nancy Chohan, who's one of the members of TAG Environmental Sustainability. And I got to give a shout out to
Hey,
Henrik.
Nancy's connected as well.
Oh, yay. Just in time. Yeah. And, I got to give a shout out to you, Henrik, because you helped out a lot with the stuff for this talk, because you've done so much work already previously with Kepler. So the talk was called "How Green Is My Open Telemetry Collector?", in which we explore ways to optimize the collector to make it more environmentally friendly using Kepler, which it measures like the energy output of your pod. So huge thanks to you for that. And then my last talk was on the Thursday, and it was with Reese Lee, who I've done a bunch of OTEL talks with. So it was extra special to do this with her. And it was about, Tell Me How to Get My Open Source Community Taken Seriously. And it's about the work that we've done because we're both maintainers of the OTEL end user SIG, along with Dan Gomez Blanco. And it's the work that we've done in the end user SIG about really building up community in OTEL and really taking advantage of the fact that OTEL is like such a warm and welcoming community. And how do we ensure that we keep like our end users engaged and get the feedback from our end users back to our maintainers. So it was a whirlwind.
So we will probably talk about it a bit later on the session, because we're going to talk about the humans hotel, which is also not end user, but it's a way of engaging with the community itself. And for me, I didn't have the chance to be selected at KubeCon. But for those who've never been to KubeCon, there's a conference just before called Cloud Rexed. So I had a chance to all my talks have been selected. So I delivered 2 talks. So if you're up into having a service mesh benchmark, which service mesh is the best, check out the session. The recording is available on the Cloud Projects YouTube channel. And then the second session I presented with Ben from Armo, the CTO, and we did a benchmark on different security agents. And there was a question about it, by the way, so we can cover that question a bit later. But before we start covering the various topics, I would love to first, for those who never been to KubeCon, who never have any experience of KubeCon, maybe we can remind how KubeCon works and what it is. So, Adriana, let's start with you. How is it organized, this KubeCon in general?
Yeah, so KubeCon, first of all, there's like the co-located events days, which is essentially It's considered like KubeCon Day 0. So this is where you have like a bunch of like mini conferences that are like project or topic specific. So we've got Observability Day. I want to say there is an open feature day, right, as well?
Yep.
Yeah,
there was
that's what I
an
thought.
open feature summit.
Open
Summit.
Feature Summit, yes.
Yeah.
So we have that. We have Platform Engineering Day. I think there's like ArgoCon, like there's
Istio,
tons and tons of
IstioCon,
stuff. Oh,
eBPF,
IstioCon.
and then what else? Platform engineering. Yeah, that's true. That's
Yep.
right. Others.
Yeah, I want to say I'm sure we're missing stuff, but like I think the list of co-located events has grown. And the cool thing is, because there's like two types of KubeCon tickets. There's like your main KubeCon ticket, which gives you access to like the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then there's the All Access Pass, which gives you main conference plus the.
Okay, so we lost. So you can basically with the co-located event in Pass, you don't register to one co-located event. You have access to all of them. So you can say, oh, I want to go from I don't know, ArgoCon, one talk track, and then move on to Observability Day talk track. So it's pretty good. And from my perspective, I've been doing a lot of quality events since I started the KubeCon adventure, and I really love it because I think it's, if you are into a practice or a topic, usually you have really topics that are pretty much narrowed down to that topic. So I think as an observability geek, usually Observability Day is my stuff. So I usually go there.
Did you see Andy Scott talk? I think Andy Grabner had a talk.
Yeah,
at
he had a talk at
Observability Day, right?
Observability Day. Yeah,
Mhm.
and also platform engineering. I think there was.
I don't know. I didn't really have time to go to any of the other tracks, so that's why I'm interested.
So you mentioned
Mostly
open
been to the Open Feature Summit. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about it. So what was the Open Features Summit about? So could you share some stuff about it?
Basically, the Open Feature Summit was like in the afternoon of Tuesday, so a whole afternoon full of talks about open features. So there were vendors talking about open feature, and then also users and maintainers from different companies. It was really cool to see so many people engaged in the product, and also like really like happy to be contributing, to be using it. So that was really cool. There has also been a talk from Dynatrace colleagues about how open feature improved the confidence at Dynatrace, a bit of history. So it was basically a bit of a history session as well, how we got to initiate the open feature project, and then also how the initial adoption in the company went. So if you want to go check that out, I think we have a link somewhere to this Get session, and it will be uploaded also, the recording.
And then you also have some. There was a lightning talk you mentioned from some dev cycle or founder.
Yeah. So it was also a pretty cool one. I found that was really interesting. There's basically also an update on the of the open feature project and about the multi-provider, which can be used for testing basically. So open feature is like just a bit of background. So you have like it's vendor agnostic, so you can just plug and play your provider. So if you switch from a file provider to like some kind of fancy feature flag management system, then you just need to switch it out. You don't have to change anything in code. And what the multi-provider is really nice for, you can like have a different provider. So maybe if you want to switch from one vendor to the other, so if you, I don't know, go from LaunchDarkly to DevCycler or so, then you just have to switch this out, and you want to make sure that the configuration is still the same, right? So that for this, the multi-provider helps. I found this really interesting.
That's cool. That it reminds me one of the topic that we discuss a bit later if we have time. It's the gateway API interference, where there's been some features covered for LLM workload, where you have like a sort of proxy, and basically it's the same thing. It's going to be a proxy. Say, oh, you want to use an LLM system for audio or video, or this backend doesn't respond, so I'm gonna route the traffic to another one. So it reminds me to the similar approach. But out of the colored events, there are the actual KubeCon. So day 1, day 2, and day 3, and each day is started by a keynote session, so keynote sessions in general in the main stage, and then followed by, of course, lots of sessions, too many sessions, in fact. And then you have, of course, the actual expo hall that opens just after the keynotes, where you have all the sponsors and every solution. And there's a specific section for those who are following the CNCF project called the CNCF Pavilion. And I think you, Alex, you were at the
Yeah.
open feature booth.
Yeah, it's really cool to see. So there's a whole area with just small booths with one screen. You can imagine it like that, and people from all different kinds of like open source project on the CNCF landscape are there just to basically talk about their projects, and people can ask any questions. So it's really cool to see so many different projects, and they even do like a project pavilion tour, it was called, I think,
Yep.
a couple of times, and then they just went through some of the booths, and then they were just giving you a quick like intro to the project, which was really cool to see.
I think it's a great idea that they introduced this like a sort of tour.
Yeah.
So we're going through
I took part in it once to see how it is. It's really fun. Yeah,
and
and
it's
then also
usually
we had a booth as well. Yeah, the feature project.
of course, yeah.
So
And
we
it's
were.
managed by CNCF ambassadors. I think they can volunteer on being part of the tour to follow that.
I think some of them were voluntold more.
Oh yeah, yeah. It would be great if you could do it, or you it would be
Yeah,
great.
they were just coming with the whole group. Okay, and you are next. They were like, "Oh, damn, we didn't really like prepare for that, but okay, let's do it." And there was like this whole crowd standing around this small booth, and one person trying to speak as loud as possible so that everyone could hear. So it was really fun. I even got a Helm tea towel from the Helm project. That
Ooh,
was cool.
Oh,
Don't know what
fun.
I will use it for, but yeah.
Let's cover a couple of topics to share with the audience, things that has been discussed during the week, and things that was interesting for us as well. So and we'll cover first the KubeCon topics in general, and then we're going to walk through project updates. So you could share open feature, open telemetry, and others. So during KubeCon, there was a lot of things mentioned during each keynote. And I think one thing that was impressive was I think exciting, or we may expect something. If you remember, last year was the 10-year anniversary of Kubernetes, and now 10 year. No, that was not last year. 2 years ago, I think. But never mind. But this year it's the anniversary for CNCF. And there's a couple of projects behind CNCF that are gonna have their also anniversary, meaning that we will probably have meetups or local events organized during the year to share the love of CNCF or the love of few projects that are having their anniversary. And mentioned about side things. We discussed about the various KubeCon. And so I started in Valencia. I don't remember the number of registrants, but I think every KubeCon that I'm going, at least in Europe, is the numbers are hitting, is just growing. So do you remember how many attendees were
It's like
at KubeCon?
12,000 or 13,000
For
for this latest one. So, which is
but I
like the
didn't
biggest one ever.
but I didn't feel 12,000 people in the actual venue. I mean,
No.
maybe the
Although,
venue
like
was huge.
when you walk into like the keynote area, I know like not everyone was there, but it was like really crowded, and it was a massive room. Like it had rock concert vibes.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
It was crazy big.
Yeah, ridiculous.
But it didn't
Never
feel like
seen the biggest
in
thing.
Amsterdam or Paris where you were feeling the crowd. Here you
Yeah,
have maybe the venue was much bigger, so you don't feel that that the number of people
I think
there.
also because like the solution showcase was like it was a weird setup where like it was bisected, so like half of
North
the
and
solution
south.
showcase was on one side, yeah, and the other was on the other side, so it felt like maybe less big, less crowded.
Yeah, that's true. What are the main topics that was mainly discussed or covered at KubeCon? Do you guys who wants to start?
I mean, I think AI was a biggie.
Yeah, I think
It
now
permeates
this
into all the conversations.
now these days, if you don't talk about AI, then you don't bring in interests. I think it seems so. I don't know, but that's true. Yeah, there was so many AI mentioned on the. So I think the first keynote of the day was mainly focused on observability in general. The second one more on platform engineering, and then the last one was more about LLM and AI in general. But in every single day there was AI everywhere,
Yeah.
of course. And I think what I liked is the first day, the keynote delivered by VJ Samuels from eBay, sharing how eBay is basically managing observability in to be efficient, and they were using a sort of LLM solution that were simplifying and the work for the SREs. I think he didn't give the solution, but he was very practical. I loved it because he didn't say, "Oh, it's magical." He just said that maybe this solution will be useless next year. We don't know, but at least it's solve a problem for today. So I really like that approach. And then I think you had a topic that you were assisted, Alex.
Sorry, what?
I think you had a topic that you were interested in.
Yeah,
Uh,
there was one talk I didn't get to see many talks apart from the open feature talks and the feature flagging related ones, but there was one that I found particularly interesting. Was it was basically about a research from or a research group from Apple, Google, and Netflix, and they were basically trying to find a common observability querying language. So it's kind of
yeah.
interesting when working in Dynatrace, I think. And what they came up with, so they basically are working on like a CNCF specification, and I think it's now still a draft.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So I can share. So there's a working group
yeah,
under the old tag observability.
you were even on the group, right? For some
Yeah. So
time.
the initiative was to describe every query language that are provided by the vendors. So I've shared my screen. I'm shared just a screen about the query language. In a few seconds. Okay. So the query specification, it's a working group where we started with the actual specifications of all the query language of the different provided by the different vendors, and the idea is to find a common model, and then find like a schema, and then find a specification for a new language. It's going to be a piped language, probably. So very very interesting. I think that this is covered. I think this was suggested to be under Open Telemetry project, but people said no, it doesn't make sense to, because it's an open standard for observability format, so you don't drive the actual query language. But I think it's a really really exciting to have to see this. And I don't know if you heard about Alex, but there's another project under
No,
CNCF called
I haven't
Percy.
yet.
And Percy is a it's a UI that basically where you have dashboards, of course, but all the dashboard you see here, you can basically code them. So there's like either a real SDK where you can code your actual your dashboards, and there's a Kubernetes operator that is currently in experimental mode, where you will have specific CRDs where you can say, oh, this is a tile. Here is the query. Here is the unit. You can basically define it and then store it into your source or GitHub or whatever source control you're using. So then you can version your dashboard and follow it. So, and there's few solutions out there that are relying on Percy as of now. So I think those two initiatives, Percy and the query language, sounds very promising for just the data visualizations in general.
That's super cool.
Otherwise, other topic, I think, Adriana, we were, for those who never been or never, if you were in KubeCon, you never have seen the change, but if you were in the CNCF pavilion, you may not have found the Open Telemetry CNCF project pavilion. And why is there no
It's too big
Open
for the
Telemetry?
pavilion.
Well, because so the hotel like project booth was there, but the all the action was at the hotel observatory, which the observatory's been around since KubeCon Chicago back in, I want to say 2023. Yeah, 2023. And it is basically where all the cool hotel kids come to hang out. It's great because it's like this nice big booth, and people can come in, and usually there's a lot of like hotel maintainers and contributors hanging out there, and you can walk up and ask them questions. We also, because KubeCon is so well attended by so many hotel folks, you can we organize sig meetings for folks to actually like meet in real life, which is cool because most of the time we're all meeting over Zoom. And then of course one of my favorite things is the Humans of Hotel recordings, which we started basically when the Hotel Observatory started, with my rinky-dink little phone and mic setup, and then Henrik's like, let's take this up a notch. And now it's like this lovely production, like very, very professional production, for where you can actually hear people. It was really hard the first Humans of Hotel, because the solution showcase is so noisy, and now with Henrik's equipment, it's definitely a lot better to hear folks in the interviews. And Humans of Hotel, for those who aren't familiar, is basically a piece that we do. It's a series of interviews that we do with hotel practitioners and contributors, where we just basically ask them 5 questions related to like hotel. And it's really just a get to know the folks who make this project what it is. So this is going to be our, I want to say, 4th edition of it. And then also for the second time running, we also did the Humans of Hotel live stream, which we streamed on Thursday.
I can share I can share my screen here.
Awesome.
If you see my screen, there is on the official OpenTelemetry YouTube channel. You can see that there's a live stream delivered during London. But keep in mind that we had some networking issues during that live stream.
It was challenging. The network connectivity at the venue was really tough. Like the cell service was finicky, the Wi-Fi was finicky. So, but it was lots of fun. And the live stream, basically what we do with that is we interview a maintainer. We interview someone like in project leadership. So last time in Salt Lake City, we did Ted Young. This time we had Austin Parker come in and talk about like what's the latest and greatest of hotel. And then we also interview an end user. And this time we had Marilia Gutierrez, who was in kind of a cool, unique position because she had previously been an end user at her previous company. And now where she works, she works directly on OpenTelemetry. So now she is a contributor. I think she's an approver in a bunch of SIGs. And then she's also a maintainer in the, is it developer experience SIG, I want to say.
I think she also did some localization stuff.
Yeah, and localization. Yeah, she also does some localization work. Like me, she's Brazilian, living in Toronto. And so she's been working on the Portuguese localization. So OpenTelemetry is now, I want to say it's available in like 5 languages. And it's all thanks to the efforts of all the lovely folks who have been doing the localization work to extend it beyond just having the docs. And this is for OpenTelemetry.io, having the docs available in just English. So now it's available in a number of languages. So yay, kudos to those folks who work on that.
Very cool.
So before we go to the product news, I want to answer to one question that was coming from YouTube from Rohan Pradhan, who he made a comment about Percy. So it says, how can we use Percy? Can you elaborate a little bit more about Percy? Is it a third party or is it part of Dynatrace? So it's not a Dynatrace project. It's a CNCF project that is, I think, where there is contributors from Red Hat, from from I don't remember the name of the company, but never mind. But there's a couple of different companies involved in the project. As of now, it's mainly been built for specific needs, but I think it's quite exciting because I think it's if we have this as code approach that is quite adopted, then you can think of I want to build my visualizations using this as code model, and I don't know, maybe one day. We'll see. A lot of people, every dashboard will be built with through this as code model. That would be quite excited for sure. But I think behind at the moment you need a backend, so Prometheus or other stuff. But Dynatrace could be a backend where you can query and visualize it in any solutions. All right, so move on to the project news, starting with OpenTelemetry. Adriana,
Yes.
share us what happened during this week on OpenTelemetry.
Okay, so I do want to prefix that with the fact that Kubecon does do project updates for various open source projects. The first time I attended project updates for Hotel, I want to say it was in Amsterdam. We were all crowded into a tiny, stuffy conference room where it was standing room only, people spilling out into the hallways. Now you can do it. Now they do it in like a larger dedicated like speaking space. So there's room for everyone to enjoy the project updates. So some highlights. First of all, like they showcase the fact that there have been steady growth in project contributions since 2019, and it is the second largest project in the CNCF behind Kubernetes. There have been over 1,000 contributions across different organizations. And fun fact, Dynatrace has been one of the top contributors since the project's early days. So I got to throw in a plug for that. Hotel has applied for graduation and things are moving along in terms of that. It still hasn't happened, but they've fulfilled all of the graduation requirements. So I think it's a matter of time before that happens. So hopefully we'll see an announcement coming soon. Also, one thing that was announced at the previous KubeCon is that there's an Hotel certified associate certification that you can do. It's currently in beta, but it will be available. It'll be in GA soon. I think you can still, like I was on the website the other day and it looks like you can take it. Also, for those who want, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, for the certification, here it is. You can see it's under Linux Foundation on the education platform. There's a specific OpenTelemetry certification. There's two of them, but this is the first one, the associate. So if you want to be, I don't know, if you're up for an OpenTelemetry certified, then let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Yes, exactly. Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing the screenshot of that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is that I didn't know about. Linux Foundation has a Getting Started with OpenTelemetry course, which is free. So for anyone who is, wanting to get into Hotel, that is super duper cool. Let me just share the link here so that we can post that. There we go. And then the other thing that's worth highlighting is, so as I mentioned, I'm part of the Hotel end user SIG, and we've worked in conjunction with a number of the other SIGs, basically to collect feedback from end users and share it back with the maintainers. So we've sort of been the orchestrators of the surveys where we work with the various SIGs to put out these surveys, and then we have a process in place for sharing the survey results with the community at large. So we often the results are presented to the maintainers, they're presented back to the SIGs. There's often a blog post written about just summarizing the survey results. So in the last year, we have
done
the
link for the last one.
Sorry?
That would be interesting to share. Do you have the last link to the result survey of last year? That would be interesting.
Oh yeah, let me pull it up. It's in the Hotel end user SIG GitHub repo. Let me. Okay, sorry, I can't type and talk at the same time. There we go. Okay, here's a link that is going to get shared in a sec, so you can see like the various surveys that we've run over the last over the last little while. I think we've run 6 surveys in conjunction with various SIGs. And it started when the OTel Collector SIG folks came to us and said, hey, can you collaborate with us on this survey to help drive the roadmap for the collector? And then other SIGs came to us. They're like, ooh, cool, let's do that. So it's been great. It's been great because I think it's really important for us to get those that kind of feedback back to the maintainers. And then some other kind of fun OTel updates. So OTel Collector supports profiling through these.
I have a link to that, so I can share my screen.
Awesome.
So there's the OpenTelemetry BPF profiler, which is here. So there's a collector that you need to build it. It's an experimental mode. You need to include to build this specific profiler collector. So it means you will have a daemon set that will do the profiling, and then you will send it to another collector, because all the collectors of now has the support for profile. So you can receive profiling, and there is few processors as of now that support also data enrichment, like Kubernetes attribute processor, for example. And then you can basically export it to a backend supporting OTLP profiling. So it's very exciting. I think this movement to profiling, and it's starting to be very experimental. But I think it means that in a few years it's going to be a GA for everyone.
Yeah, it's picking up steam, and I did a bit of digging, and it's available in the OTel Collector. There's a service.profile support config section for the collector available. It's a feature gate, which I didn't even know the collector had that. So super cool. Very exciting. There's like new stuff coming up all the time. And then with the collector, I think there's like more and more components that are getting bumped up to 1.x. So that's very exciting. So it shows, it just goes to show like the maturity of the collector. And then the other thing that came up is, this came up in the previous KubeCon as well, about like so when logging was first introduced to OpenTelemetry, it was done through the Logs Bridge API. So it's like, the idea is, well, so many languages just have their own like logging tools. The Logs Bridge API converts like their logging format into like OTLP. But it turns out that there is, I think, more of a, I guess the OTel folks realize there's more of a need to have like that sort of same look and feel for logging as we do for traces and metrics. So there will be like a user, or there is rather a user-facing logs API now, which if you've used the traces and metrics API, it's that same sort of deal, like where you get, you know, in tracing, there's like, you get the tracer provider and all that stuff. So it's, yeah.
And I think it would be simplifying also the adoptions of having more logging framework, having the OpenTelemetry appender that we see on the screen, because it means that the logging library needs to have the appender, and then boom, your favorite framework for logging will export natively OpenTelemetry logs. That's super exciting.
Yeah, and the Logs Bridge API isn't going away either, so they are coexisting happily. So yeah, I think those are the main things. Oh, and one more thing, the OTel Collector has 43 new components, which is super exciting. Lots of love for the OTel Collector, which I love to hear. I love the collector.
The things that I discovered, I discovered it through the Observability Day talk. I'm going to share my screen now. There's a component in the OpenTelemetry project called Weaver. Ooh. And I thought it was really a nice initiative. It's basically a framework that UI in your CI/CD pipeline to make sure that if you are changing the metric definitions or the logging definitions, that those changes with the semantic conventions or whatever you have built is not making a breaking change to your graphs or to your alerting or to your stuff. So it's like it's a rule that it's an engine that it's basically OPA. If you know the project OPA, there's a language behind the scenes called Rego. So you can create your own Rego rules to say I don't want, for example, if you want to control that the spans produced are not too big or the metric dimensions are not too huge, you can basically apply that. So I think this project is still is there, and it sounds very promising. So it's a way of testing or making like a gateway for your observability as code approach. I think it's very promising out of it. Oh, the balloons.
Balloons.
Nice.
The other thing I want to change. So change topic. It's Flinbit. Flinbit announced the release version 4. Very exciting. So for those who never heard about Flinbit, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fanboy of OpenTelemetry, but also with Flinbit and many other projects. But Flinbit is released the version 4 during this KubeCon, and what it means behind the scene. If you want to have the big thing, they have improved a lot of things. But what is exciting is that now they have trace sampling processors, meaning that with Flinbit version 4, you have tail sampling and probabilistic sampling. So you can create your roles, you can do sampling on your traces there. So push it. So if you, I may do soon like a small benchmark to compare the performance behavior of this Flinbit versus the collector to see if Flinbit is not consuming too much memory about it. And pimp my trace as well. The right sampling decision. All right, so we talked a lot about observability so far, and we have Alex from Open Feature. So Alex,
Yes.
what about Open Feature?
Should I give a quick introduction to Open Feature, or do you think
I
everyone
think it
knows?
makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bit a smaller project than OpenTelemetry, smaller scope probably. So it's basically doing the same what OpenTelemetry, or aims to do the same what OpenTelemetry does for telemetry data, for basically for feature flagging. So aims to standardize it. So it's basically I think everyone knows what feature flags are. I think I don't have to explain that.
Maybe I don't know. What is
should
it?
I?
What is
Yeah.
feature flag?
What is a feature flag?
Do it.
Okay, so basically, it's a software development technique that allows us to enable or disable certain code paths. So to change the behavior of the code without redeploying, so without modifying the source code. So it's both is actually already deployed, where you just switch basically a flag, so in the simplest form a toggle, and from you get this basically a variable that you can fetch from any like feature flag management system that you use, and then on runtime decide basically if you're enabling this feature or the basically code path 1 or be in the else part and have the old code still there. So if something goes wrong, you just switch the toggle basically, and you have the feature turned off or on.
But it's even more complex than that, and you can do feature flagging based on, I want to enable this feature for, I don't know, only the person connected from Toronto, Canada, and that spent the weekend with their kid in London. So you can create those rules.
Cool. Yeah, you can have like that. That's also like feature flag in the simplest form. It's just a toggle, but you can have like number feature flags. You can have strings there, objects, and have like really cool targeting rules. Or basically based on the email address maybe of Adriana then. and just enable the feature for her or for a certain stage if you first want to test it in depth, and then roll it out. So you have really controlled rollout from your feature flags to really from your features to really like safely ship to the customer, and don't have to worry for like critical incidents or anything. Or if there's something happens, then you can always like just switch back to the old version without redeploying something. So that's pretty cool. And architecture-wise, I want to introduce some terms. So basically, in your application, you will interact with the Open Feature SDK. So we have all different kinds of languages supported already on the landscape. Maybe we can share the link really quick. It's on the openfeature.dev.
Maybe I can share my screen, so I have the Open Feature.
And maybe like the ecosystem page or so.
The ecosystem page, where is it?
It's in the top menu, the third.
Here. I'm going to open this here.
So this is basically an overview of all the SDKs that are there already. And also to the community, maybe if you don't see your language there, you can hit us up in the CNCF Slack or so, and we'll help you get onboarded and start creating your own SDK, basically contributing also to the project. So basically, we have the SDKs that they are all open source, and we will use them in your code. to write basically get feature flag, and then with the feature flag key, of the name of the feature flag and the default value, and this will always stay the same. So you will never have to change anything anymore about that. And then depending on your flag management system, you'll have the provider that you plug and play. I think you already opened one of the providers already previously. So there's also like on the top, there's like right on the top, we can select the providers.
Here. Boom.
Yeah, this type. So basically, we already have really a lot of providers, and depending on which vendor you're using, or even you can build your own provider basically. You just plug and play, so you can really easily switch between different flag management systems, which is great because then you're not like bound to any. And the interesting part, what I found out this KubeCon, is that vendors are actually, they really like being on the project, because it's kind of, you would think it's more like a love-hate relationship, but they really see the value in also like basically marketing their own product, because they can say, okay, you're not bound to us, you can always switch basically, because we're supporting open feature, or we are compliant to open feature, so you will never have to change any code if you choose to switch to another one. So actually sales for the vendors also have been going up, which was also pretty nice to see.
I think that's where it reminds OpenTelemetry, because at the end it's you put an agnostic SDK. You don't have to put the launch darkly or the config-cat SDK in your code anymore. You can rely on this agnostic SDK. I think that brings exciting for open features for sure, but for feature flagging.
Yeah. Okay, so should I also then go a bit into the new updates that we?
Yes, please.
We basically also went through in the talk that I gave. So basically, I will mention just 3 big topics. One is the open feature CLI code generation. So we have a command line interface. Maybe I think we can open it. It's not yet on the main website in the docs because it's pretty new.
Oh, okay.
But there is already in GitHub a project.
Okay, let me open the GitHub repo.
Yeah, please. Yeah, that would be nice.
GitHub up, and
then just /CLI. So from the project, or like this. Mm-hmm.
And what is the CLI about? So it's like you configuring your.
It has all different kinds of functions, but one that's particularly interesting is the code generation part, where you can basically so for now it's you have the open feature client, and then you set dot in whatever languages you have, get Boolean flag, and then you will have in brackets the feature flag key as a string, and then the default value defaults to if you cannot get anything from the flag management system. And this is really error prone because you have a string in there, right? And so you will use this get Boolean flag in a couple of places, maybe because your feature is kind of distributed between files. But if you kind of change the flag key or make a typo or anything, then it won't work, right? And you will not get notified because it's just a string. So what the code generation aims to, that you have like your manifest that you define in your management system, maybe even, and fetch it from there. And then from this manifest, you can like just use the CLI to generate code based on this manifest, and then it will create you some kind of variables that you can access, or basically a client that you can access the flags with a variable and not typing any string there. You also have you have it typed as well. So if it's a string value, you'll get the string back, and so on. So you can see that's pretty cool too.
And if you want to see an example, not of the CLI, but if you want to see an example of the usage of open feature into a demo app, for those who is using the OpenTelemetry demo. So in the OpenTelemetry project, there is an OpenTelemetry demo project that's showcase all the various language covered by the instrumentation SDK and metric SDK and whatever, the collector and everything. So it showcase 11 microservices and more. I think now it's growing. But in behind the scene, there is a feature flag to turn on performance problems or performance patterns. And let's hear, I'm going to open it. It's going to be easier to see for you guys who've never seen it. But let me open it here. Oh, copy paste is better. No, that's the wrong link for sure. That's typical. Shish. Let me get it. I should have it because I'm posting it. But yeah, there is a feature flag service, and it's relied on flag-D. And if so, meaning that you could see up. Oh, you have it. Even perfect, faster than ever. Gosh. Up. Here it is.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! And yeah, so you have all those services, and in the middle of this, if you go to sources, where is it? You have open feature somewhere.
If you do a code search at the top and just type open feature, then
I have the flag-D UI and flag-D. Yeah. So it's flag-D is going to be the.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true.
The actual stuff. Anyway, sorry, but just for those who wants to have an example. So
that's pretty cool.
Best of both worlds.
It's really like to see. It's great to see coming everything together.
But what is exciting is Open Feature is producing traces and metrics. So it's also you rely on Open Dynatrace. That's a
and that brings me to the other updates actually. So so maybe I'll start with with the OTel SemConf. So basically, Open Telemetry and Open Featured people work together to have basically feature flagging attributes. And I think we have a link. Maybe you can share it as well. It's on the openfeature.dev website as well. And it's basically a link so you have so that we all agree basically on the same
I have it here.
On the same data. So if you want to store or record flag evaluation details, so if the flag was on or off, then we basically agreed on common attributes. So that's pretty cool. And that's also really valuable now for the other addition that we had to the which is the newest addition to the spec. It's the tracking API.
Oh, I have it here. I think I have a link.
Yeah, with here it's open as well. Perfect.
Somewhere. I opened it. I lost it. Here, I got it. Tracking API.
Perfect. Tracking API. So the tracking is basically the last part that was missing to support experimentation from open feature perspective, basically. So you can do your own experimentation platform now just using open source tools, which is really cool. So you will use the hooks concept, which you can see in the middle here on the page, and then you will use the tracking API, and the hooks will help you to send all the evaluation details to your observability platform where you want to use, and the event and the tracking helps you to record business events. So if you have like kind of like a UI, you want to enable a new feature, and see if basically in a simple example, you have a web shop and you want to see if the sales increased, then you would just like track if a user clicked checkout, then track then also the details. So I think in the code example down there, you can see they can add a numeric value. So with it, I think
track
it's even
conversion track.
conversion tracker. Yeah, so you can add a numeric value, and then you basically track what the user session or the user from the session checked out their card with, and in the end you combine those two in the same like backend.
Wait a minute. There is it must be a bot. There's someone called Andreas Grabner. I don't know if it's a bot. Should we report that? I think that's an attack. So the question from Andy was, with flag-D, what level of feature flags management does it provides? Can I easily change flag values? Can I see which flags are used? I think here from one of the question from Andy, here it's covered. And Mike, I have another question. If I want to see the changes of flags, I will see it from adding a tracker. But would that produce a log, a metric, or trace? What would I have at the end?
Sorry, where should I start now?
Everywhere.
Everywhere. So to answer the question of Andy, so flag-D is basically the flag daemon. You can use it. It's a building block thingy. You can use it in various ways. So you can basically also just say, so basically flag-D can be a provider. Say that you plug in your SDK, and you then say you want to fetch it from a file or from a management system, so wherever your flags are stored. So this is completely up to you, and flag-D will handle basically the flag the flag evaluation. So that is the simplest. And coming back, maybe can you repeat the question about the tracking part?
Yeah. So you, if I reshare my screen, you see that on the page that we were showing a few minutes ago on the screen. So there was an example of a track where you were tracking the conversion, tracked the value and the currency code, whatever. What would I have? Would I have a metric that will be counted on this specific tracker? Would I have
Basically,
a
it's a
log?
log. Actually, it's a log in the backend.
Okay.
Yeah, so we will send a log. And actually, for the talk that I prepared a bit of like a demo, and I did not do a live demo, but I did screenshots of it, and I used the Open Telemetry protocol actually to send the metrics to Dynatrace as my observability platform of choice, obviously, and then we analyzed it with the Dynatrace Notebooks app and basically put together both. So you have kind of what is really important, you have a context ID in both logs. So you need that to basically have like a user session. So say like this is basic to have like a kind of a UID or something like that to represent a user. And then you can combine it in the backend and basically join those two types of logs and figure out if for this particular feature the sales increased.
But that is exciting because the tracker is a new way of getting extra details on the feature flagging and also get statistics, analytics. I mean, it's I love it. I want to try. I'm going to try it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I was also really impressed how everything comes together, and it's really cool. And then using the Otis SemConf and everything is kind of like coming together quite nicely.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
So we have 3 minutes to go. So yeah, I think it's time to conclude.
Time flies.
I wanted to touch base on the Gateway API, but I think we had I love the interaction and discussion. So awesome. But if you have more questions, there is a couple of questions covered. I think during this live stream, we will try to go through them and drop some answers about it. So. Thanks, Andy. Is the bot is hitting again. There's something bad here. We've been attacked. Hi, Andy. So just to for those who've been connected for the last hour, thank you so much. We will try to get back to all the questions that has been dropped if we didn't cover them or we didn't answer in. And by the way, if you are still connected and you had a topic and you were at KubeCon and there was something that that was just impressed you, drop a comment. It would be great to learn about what you've learned, and that would make you think differently because you never thought about it. So it would be interesting to share your thoughts about it. And again, I think thanks, Alex. I think I love the. I'm jealous. First KubeCon, first talk. That is not normal. No, but otherwise, thanks for the product.
It feels very privileged, though.
It's very cool. You can feel it. Yeah.
That was very awesome.
Yeah.
And then
really cool.
I'm very excited with the open feature news product news. I'm gonna definitely try it. And Adriana, thanks again. Always awesome. Like Autumn says, my favorite devil. All right. Thank you, everyone, for spending this time with us. If you enjoyed today's live stream, don't forget to like this live stream and also subscribe to the Dynatrace YouTube channel. So see you soon for probably another Ask Me Anything live on the Dynatrace YouTube channel. See you, everyone, and have a nice end of the day, or nice morning, nice afternoon, or nice evening, depending where you're connected from. See you.
Bye.
Bye.